In this video, we're going to use a conjoint analysis simulator to investigate what happens to demand as we change the product features. This is the same simulator that I use to give guidance to my clients. So let's hop right in and take a look. So when we first open it up, we're going to take a look first at the configuration tab. This is the configuration that tells us what products we currently have in simulation and what their features are set to. For fun, what we're going to want to do is take a look at a different product this time. Let's take a look at Twix, which I just know was product number 12. If you want a little bit more of a grounding and understanding of how this configuration tab and the orientation of how the simulator works, I recommend you go back and take a look at the pricing video that we've made. We spent a little bit more time on the orientation. So right now we want to take a look at product number 12, which is the Twix. On the configuration, I know that's the 12th one over, so we just need to do a little bit of scrolling. And there it is. So right now, here's the configuration for Twix. It's available in the market brand. It's milk chocolate. It's a bar, regular size, 99 cents. Over here on the left, we get some quick calculations. So our current units forecast is 1,062, and units are in thousands. Same with revenue. Revenue is 1,051. And then we've got our contribution margin, which is our proxy for profit. We'll talk more about how contribution margin and profit relate in a later video. Now the estimates here have a margin of error, and we're not as interested in the upper bound on the margin of error as we are on the lower bound to give us a conservative estimate. So we've got those lower bound estimates here as well. Don't use them as much, but it's good to get a sense for what the margin of error is on the forecasts. This automation section is very important, but we're not going to get to it for a few minutes. Really quick way to save a lot of time when we're going through this type of analysis. So here we can make changes to our Twix product. So the easy thing we can do is just make it unavailable by deselecting that button. And what that'll do is it'll update here to tell us that it's not available, and then our units go to 0, which means that our revenue and our contribution margin by necessity have to be 0 as well. Now if our units start at 1062, we could say, well, what if instead of a milk chocolate Twix, we did a dark chocolate Twix, and we'd see the units and the revenue drop. It's not necessarily going to be more preferred by consumers. We could look and see what if we did white chocolate, or what if we did maybe like a variety, someone did a variety of chocolates. Maybe a fun way to do the left and right stuff. Okay, so we've investigated that, and then we can actually take a look and see what if we change the filling. We might be interested in what happens if we do a hazelnut cream filling inside of a Twix, or what if we were to add peanut butter. I think they've done that. So we've got some options here. We set that back where it was. We could play with the format of the bar. It could be a bar, maybe figure out a creative way to do it in cups or squares. Mini chunks might be fun. We could look at a health claim, like making it all organic. But here we've got to scroll up a little bit to see what the impact is when we go to all organic. Okay, change the package size, and of course we can change the price. There are a few other ways to quickly investigate this. We can also do it with the comparisons if we're interested in what happens to the revenue as we change. We're going to set the comparison here, and we are interested in Twix, which is product number 12. So right now the base scenario is at 1051. If we make any changes, what's on the right hand column here for revenue will change. So just like we did before, we can say let's make that a dark chocolate product, and we'll see our revenue drops quite a bit. All the other competitors are going to say thank you. They're going to get a little bit more share because of the people who don't like dark chocolate are going to be a little more inclined to buy the Snickers or the Reese's or the Nestle Crunch, etc. We can also look at what happens if we do milk chocolate or a variety of different chocolates. But let's put that back to milk chocolate. And then again, the same thing we can do with hazelnut cream. What happens if we add hazelnut cream? Looks like it'll be beneficial for Twix. So that's one way to do it. We could also spend some time looking at our units. or our revenue. So just quickly to orient here, across the top is our products. Here's the Twix, it's the 12th one over. Then we want to look in the columns for the first row is our total forecasted revenue for each of the products. And then we can divide that revenue up into specific subgroups that we're interested in. So here we've got segments 1 through 5, and we'll see how the revenue divvies up among them. So this cell right here is the one that we're most interested in, this 1263. That should match the comparisons. Very good. While we're here, let's put that back to where we were at the beginning, 1051, and here is our 1051 number. So we can go through the same thing, and we can see what happens to this value right here when we change the product configuration. And this number, 755, should match what we have on this number right here. So you can go through and change those one at a time and check out what's going on. But what we actually want to do here today is we want to take a look at the automation, because that'll take a long time to go through all of those. So we're going to go to the tab called Level Impact. And when we do, you should see the automation feature becomes alive. And what we can do is we can actually say which subgroups are we interested in. Most of the time it's total, but you could make a case that you'd want to look specifically at segment number 1. And all you have to do here is make sure you're on the product that you want. We're on the Twix, which is column number 12, and hit calculate. And what that's going to do for us is it's actually going to go through the features one at a time and change. So we're going to change from milk chocolate to dark chocolate, and it'll record what our units are, what our revenue, and what our contribution margin are. And then it'll go through and hit absolutely every single one. And then we've got a quick way to scan and look and see where our big revenue opportunities are for each of the products. Revenue opportunities or profit opportunities. Again, we can do that per subgroup, so we would expect this to be, all these numbers to be smaller, probably in a similar order, depending on what this segment is made up of. But we can look at this for segment 1, and it'll quickly, again, go through, change all the product features. So what it's doing is it's changing the features here. It goes through all the chocolate types, records our units, revenue, and contribution margin. And then when it's done with chocolate types, it'll put it back to milk chocolate or wherever it was when we started. And then it'll go through and do the filling options. So here's a nice table. We can easily copy and paste this into Excel or into PowerPoint, do some more things with it. Anyhow, this is the whole setup. This is what you do with a conjoint analysis simulator. This helps you go through and look and see what possibly is going to happen as you change the product configurations. Thanks so much for watching, and look out for the next video.